Ever get a headache so bad you thought, man, I wish someone would drill a hole in my skull? No, well, our ancestors sure did. That's trepanation, baby. Got demons in your dome? Bad vibes? The answer was more holes. They'd take a sharp rock, or if they were fancy, a primitive drill, and go to town on your noggin. Sometimes it worked, mostly by making you a corpse, or just a dude with a breezy new head hole, perfect for storing spare change. Next up, the cure-all for literally everything. Bloodletting, feeling peaky, too much blood. Got the sniffles, definitely too much blood. Your cat looks at you funny. You guessed it, drain the crimson tide. Doctors, or leech enthusiasts as I call them, figured your body was like a poorly mixed cocktail of humors. If one was off, just spill some of the main ingredient. This usually just turned sick people into pale, weaker sick people, often speeding them towards the pearly gates. Effective. Syphilis, the gift that keeps on giving, especially if you were a 17th century sailor with a penchant for shore leave. So what's the hot new treatment for your rapidly decaying everything? Mercury, that shiny, slippy, is it a liquid or a metal? Stuff that we now know makes you crazier than a soup sandwich. You could chug it, rub it on your naughty bits as a sort of toxic apology cream, or even take a relaxing mercury vapor bath if you really wanted to fast-track your appointment with the Grim Reaper. The logic, and I use that term looser than a wizard's sleeve, was that this heavy, weird liquid would scare the syphilis demons out. What it actually did was add mercury poisoning to your list of ailments. Symptoms included your teeth bailing, drooling like a rabid dog, kidney failure, and irreversible brain damage. So you'd still have syphilis, but now you'd be a toothless, slobbering, organ-failing lunatic. Doctors even pointed to the excessive salivation as proof it was working. See, the disease is drooling out. No, pal, that's just your body trying to eject the poison. Brilliant. Feeling a bit off? Got a cough that sounds like a dying walrus? Forget Robitussin, my friend. What you need is some grade A, ethically questionable corpse medicine. Specifically, mummia, ground up Egyptian mummies. Because nothing says health and vitality like chowing down on some dude who's been chilling in a sarcophagus for a few millennia. They didn't stop at pharaohs, oh no. Powdered human skull was great for headaches. Ironic, huh? Human fat was a lovely rub for aches and pains, and blood, fresh from an executed criminal, if you could get it, was a real pick-me-up. The idea was that the life force or some potent medicinal mojo lingered in these desiccated remains. What actually lingered was probably a delightful cocktail of ancient bacteria, grave mold, and the faint aroma of existential dread. It's basically cannibalism with a fancy Latin name and a hefty dose of superstition. Imagine the apothecary. Yes, I'll have 2 ounces of powdered femur and a dram of that suspiciously fresh-looking Executioner's Special to go. It's a wonder the entire continent didn't just keel over from sheer unhygienic audacity. Is your brain being a bit of a jerk? Got too many thoughts? Too many feelings? Step right up for the early bird special on lobotomies, particularly the charming ice pick variety. Popularized by fellas who probably got their medical license from a gumball machine, this was elegantly simple. Take an ice pick, shove it up through the patient's tear duct into the eye socket, give it a good old wiggle waggle to scramble the frontal lobes, the bit that does all the pesky thinking and being a person, and bam, instant tranquility. Or more accurately, instant emotional void, personality deletion, and a high chance of becoming a human potato. It was the go-to fix for everything from schizophrenia to being a difficult woman. The sheer barbarity, oh, you're depressed? Let me just ram this metal spike into your brain through your eyeball. It didn't cure mental illness, it just made inconvenient people conveniently vacant. Problem solved if your solution involves creating a drooling automaton. Got a toothache like a tiny blacksmith is hammering your molar? According to yesteryear's dentists, guys with rusty pliers, the culprit was a toothworm, a minuscule wriggly demon burrowing deep, throwing an agony rave. No one ever saw one, but they were microscopic, or shy, or pure invisible evil. Treatments were wild. Inhale smoke from burning henbane seeds might make you high enough to forget the worm and your name, or get a hot needle poked in there to kill the squiggler. Often the finale was yanking the tooth with extreme prejudice, worm or no. Sometimes they'd perform elaborate rituals, chanting and waving foul herbs to exorcise the dental demon from your bicuspid. Imagine you drooling in pain while some dude in a questionable robe tries to spiritually evict a non-existent creature. Peak medical science, folks. Nasty gash on your arm looking like a science experiment gone wrong. Feverish. Forget penicillin. What you need is an animal dung poultice. That's right, farm-fresh feces lovingly smeared onto your open wounds. Cow patties, horse apples, Fido's finest. If it came out an animal's butt, it was rhyme medicinal material. The logic? Nature is good, poop is natural, therefore poop is good for you. Or maybe something that smelled that bad had to scare sickness away. What it actually did was introduce a metropolis of bacteria, E. coli, Clostridiums, the whole gang, directly into your system. So instead of healing, you got a super deluxe infection, complementary tetanus, and the social standing of a skunk's armpit. It's a miracle humanity didn't just crap itself into extinction. Doctor, I have a boo-boo. Say no more, fetch the freshest cow pie. Feeling blah, lacking that je ne sais quoi? Forget kale smoothies. In the good old days, you might get a delightful pick-me-up. Arsenic. Yes, that charmer, famous in murder mysteries for making your insides want to be outsides. In tiny, medicinal doses, this poison was hailed as a cure for asthma, skin conditions, to female complaints. Anything from a bad mood to actual illness. It was a general tonic to boost vitality or an aphrodisiac because nothing gets you in the mood like a substance slowly shutting down your organs. Initial effects might feel invigorating, skin flushing, a buzz, which users mistook for health. In reality, it was Act 1 of arsenic poisoning: vomiting, horrific diarrhea, hair loss, convulsions, and an unpleasant exit. The line between therapeutic dose and whoops, killed grandma was perilously thin, like curing a headache with a hand grenade, bold but terminally stupid. Leg just hacked off in a muddy field battle, wound gushing like a broken hydrant. The go-to is cauterization with hot irons. Simple, take metal, heat it in a bonfire till it's glowing like 1,000 suns, then press it onto the bleeding bit. Sizzle, the smell of your own flesh barbecuing, your screams echoing, the symphony of ancient healing. It seared blood vessels shut, and probably did stop bleeding if the patient didn't check out from shock and agony. It also cleansed the wound, because nothing says sterile like a third-degree burn the size of a dinner plot. Never mind the massive tissue destruction, guaranteed infection in the charred crater, or trauma of being branded like a steer. It was dramatic, decisive, and made the doctor look like he knew his stuff, even if his stuff was just high-stakes, agonizing flesh-searing. Got a stutter, tripping over P's and Q's like a drunken typographer? History's brightest had a solution: hemiglossectomy, the $20 word for let's chop off half your damn tongue. The reasoning? If less tongue is involved, fewer things go wrong in speech, like fixing engine to knock by removing half the engine. The procedure, without modern anesthesia or sterile conditions, was an agonizing, bloody mess. The result? You might stutter less, mainly because forming any words clearly was now Herculean. Eating, tasting, and not drooling like a leaky faucet also became new life challenges. So stutter cured, but you communicate in pained, slurred grunts and can't enjoy a sandwich. Congratulations, some quack with a knife played you. A stunning example of when the cure isn't just worse than the disease, it's actively malicious in its stupidity.